The Toronto Raptors have jumped out to a 2-0 series lead against the Brooklyn Nets off the back of a blowout victory in Game 1 and a big comeback in Game 2. Now, can the Raptors continue in this vein and go for the sweep against the Brooklyn Nets? Let's get into it. Welcome to Amateur Sports, everybody. Jacob Hayes talking about the Brooklyn versus Toronto series. 2 games in, I'm talking right after Game 2. This is an immediate reaction from myself. The Raptors did not have a good game, but they pulled out a victory by 5 points and kept Brooklyn to under 100 points. So, if you offered me before the game, Raptors win and Brooklyn don't get 100 points, I probably would have taken it, but I didn't know that the Raptors would play this poorly. They could not find their shooting rhythm. I mean, they're lucky other guys have big nights. See, that's the thing about having a team with 5 guys who average 15 plus points. You got anybody who can have a great night, and today the great night was Norman Powell. Norman Powell came to play. 24 points for Norm, including that last second dunk to seal the victory after Garrett Temple showcased some of the worst hands in the league. Fred VanVleet, though he didn't shoot particularly well, had another big game, 24 points. He really pulled us out of a hole when we were down 65-55. Went on an 8-0 run by himself, hitting some nasty threes to pull us within 2. It seemed like every time the Raptors brought it close, Brooklyn would just pull away again. And finally, the Raptors managed to just get close and continue to pour it on. Eventually, they cleared a bit of space and they made it difficult, as the Raptors always do. I mean, they made it difficult in Game 1 as well, but I'll get there. They made it difficult as always. Luwawu-Cabarrot, who's been phenomenal in these 2 games for some reason, hits that big shot near the end to give Brooklyn a chance. But, the Raptors still pull out with the win. And I'll take that 2-0 series lead. I was worried about it going 1-1. Not worried in the sense that the Raptors would lose the series, but worried about the duration because I wanted this to be a quick series. Raptors get some rest, go into the second round strongly. It's really showing that Brooklyn are playing great defense, and that's what's keeping the Raptors only at 104 points. I mean, it wasn't on showcase in Game 1, the Brooklyn defense, but Game 2, they came out closing down shooters, making it very difficult for the Raptors to get their points, especially when Jarrett Allen is on the court. Jarrett Allen has been a big player on defense. I knew he would be a presence at the rim, but he has been a big guy for the Brooklyn Nets over the course of the season as a shot blocker and defenseman, and in these 2 games against the Toronto Raptors. When he wasn't on the floor, the Raptors took advantage. I mean, Rodion Kurucs, he might be the worst defender I have ever seen. He's been so bad. He has been utterly abysmal. When he is on the floor, he can't guard a single position. Norman Powell absolutely yammed on his head. Rodion Kurucs is on Norman Powell's poster. And then the amount of time Siakam got the better of him. Norman Powell, again with crafty layups, got past the bigger Rodion Kurucs. This guy can't guard anyone. In Game 1, he played 20 minutes and fouled out. It's no wonder he didn't really get any second half points. All he did in the second half was make OG Anunoby angry, which got us a spark on offense from OG. Other than him, Brooklyn played some fine defense, but the Raptors, when they needed to get big shots, they finally started to get those shots because they were down 26-12 at one point and brought it back to 26-25. Brooklyn then went on a run to make it 33-25, but the Raptors just kept clawing away, kept keeping them within striking distance, never got too bad, like over 10 points other than that 26-12 margin. Raptors kept within striking distance, finally got the rhythm. Fred was a big guy, made those big shots, and we get in the game. Now, Nick Nurse knows this won't slide for games 3, 4, possibly 5. This is not going to work again. Brooklyn play gritty and ugly basketball, and that is exactly what they made us steep down to today. The Raptors played ugly. They didn't have a good game, but got the win. That's the important part. But this isn't going to go well for games 3 and 4, letting them have a chance of winning those games. And you want to be playing good basketball, you head into a competitive second round, likely against the Boston Celtics. But again, it's great to have other guys stepping up when you need them. Fred VanVleet, who has dominated the bubble so far, has dominated games 1 and 2. 30 points in game 1, 8 for 10 from 3. Unbelievable from Fred. When he sees Fred Jr., he's lights out from 3. We know this from last year. Norman Powell is big today. In game 1, you had guys like Serge Ibaka coming up big. Serge did not have a good game today. Marc Gasol did not have a good game today. OG Anunoby was not good until he got that brutal foul from Kurucs. I really don't understand what the definition of a flagrant foul is. If Rodion Kurucs was not getting a flagrant for that one. Like, no injury? What, does he have to have blood? Does he have to break a bone for it to be a flagrant foul? Why can't it be hostile? The fact that he intentionally barged his shoulder into OG Anunoby's cheekbone. All that did was make OG Anunoby cram it on the next play. And then the ensuing play almost cram it again, but got fouled and hit both his free throws, which again was a big spark in the game. Now going to game one, the Raptors, this is nothing new. Going out to a big lead and then letting it get close and making it difficult for yourself. In the end, it was a blowout margin of victory, but at one point it got to 8 points, and they did this so many times last year. Like, they'd be up by like 10 to 15 against the Bucks or the Warriors and just let them crawl back into the game, and still we get over the line. But why do you want to make it difficult? Why do you want to get me nervous? Why do you want to get every Raptors fan nervous about it? You know, we know our record in game ones is not good. 1 over 11 all time in round one game ones. So we're up by over 30 and all of a sudden it's 8. How am I supposed to feel as a Raptors fan? But again, they come through. I should have seen it because they did it so many times last year. They come through even after making it more difficult for themselves. And they made today very difficult. They didn't want to make it easy. They let Brooklyn play their game, and we steep down to that level. Ultimately, champions get the game won even when you're not playing well. That's how it works in any sport. The champions, the best teams, win games when they don't play well. Fortunately, the Raptors did not play well, but had guys like Norman Powell step up in big-time moments to give us the win. As far as Brooklyn goes, they surprised me with their ability to shoot the three right now. Caris LeVert, as the primary ball handler, is a completely different player to when he's playing with guys like Kyrie Irving. When Caris LeVert is the primary ball handler, he's a lot more dangerous, though he did not have a good game today by any means. The Raptors kind of realized that Fred VanVleet cannot be the only guy guarding Caris LeVert for size reasons, and Caris LeVert only went 5 for 22 from the field today. Completely abysmal from the field. He couldn't shoot. The Raptors figured out, Caris LeVert's going to be the guy. Then we'll guard him. We'll make other guys beat us, If Luwawu Cabarrot, TLC, wants to get some shots in, that's fine. If Garrett Temple wants to keep hugging threes, he made a lot more today than I think he normally would, but that's the fear factor. Joe Harris was left open on multiple occasions. He went 4 for 7 from 3. The Raptors will let these guys take their shots as long as they're closing out, and for the most part, I think they did a good job of making sure there was at least a hand there when those kind of guys were taking their threes. Also, the Raptors do a good job of taking advantage when the Brooklyn bench is on. It's exactly what I said when I broke down the matchups of the two teams. Sure, Brooklyn don't have a great starting lineup, but, it's something that maybe they can keep up with the Raptors at times during a game. But when Brooklyn's bench comes in, like when Kurucs is getting more minutes because he didn't start today, or when Tyler Johnson is on the court, that's where the Raptors are going to town, because Tyler Johnson, he sucks. Tyler Johnson sucks. And you know what? Nobody in NBA sucks. You're playing you're an NBA player. You're not bad at basketball. But as far as NBA player goes, Tyler Johnson sucks. And he went minus 15 today. All he can do is hit 1 out of 5 open threes if you give him that, and he'll sometimes hit his floaters driving in. But he is not a good player, and the Raptors took advantage of guys like him being on the court. Jared Allen comes off, Caris LeVert comes off. The Raptors punished the Brooklyn Nets. That's how we got our comeback to take the lead near the end of the game. Jared Allen was off the floor, and we go after the Brooklyn Nets at the rim. Pascal Siakam has a better game than he has been having in the bubble. He was pretty big today. He hit some good shots. I think he's still trying to force things a little bit too much. When he lets the game come to him and everything's within rhythm of the offense, that is where he's succeeding. But he just, he hears the media. He wants to make amends for his poor performances, and he's really, really trying to make it happen, forcing it to happen. But when he's comfortable playing in the rhythm, playing in the system, that is where he's at his best. He just needs to realize that aspect, because he was doing that a lot in the first half, drifted away from that in the second half. But if he can keep what he did in the first half going, he'll be a lot better for the remainder of the playoffs. So again, the Raptors do a good job of going at the Brooklyn bench, just as I was predicting before the series even started. And the Raptors, even though they played ugly, they don't have to play well to beat the Brooklyn Nets usually, because the defense was there today. The offense needs to be cleaned up. I think Brooklyn kind of realized at the halfway point of game one that they can't defend Toronto the way they were. They switch it up. and Toronto start to have problems. So I think that if Brooklyn continue in this vein of defense, the Raptors could have a little bit of struggles on offense. We just need to make sure that our arguably best defense in the NBA, top 2 for sure, needs to keep them at bay like they did today, because Brooklyn aren't going to be lights out shooting like they were in the first quarter of game 2. And they won't be lights out shooting like they were in the third quarter of game 1. They have those little hot runs because they shoot a ton of threes. I mean, 86 threes were taken in game 1 total by both teams. So it's a 3-point shooting series. The Raptors need to be that little bit hotter throughout the entire game. It's a 48-minute game. If Brooklyn have those runs, just mitigate it the best you can and get your own runs. That's what we did today. Raptors come out with the win. I think the Raptors are on their way to win this series. Still 4 or 5 games. I feel like the way Brooklyn are playing, if they can get hot for a longer period than just a quarter, all of a sudden we're looking at Brooklyn winning a game. I still feel the gentleman's sweep is on the cards. 5 games for the Toronto Raptors. Go on to the next round, fully rested. You don't have to play 7 games. Hopefully, no more than 5. There's still a chance for the sweep. I'm just thinking 5 games. What did you make of the Toronto Raptors performance today? Do you think they had a decent game? Do you think they had a bad game like I am saying? Overall, the Raptors get the win. How far does this series go? Is it 4? Is it 5? Are Brooklyn going to win the series? Let me know in the comments down below. But thank you so much for watching. Please like the video if you like, and subscribe to Amateur Sports for more content just like this as well. Hit that notification bell. Post 4 times a week on the channel, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Stay up to date with all the Raptors content as we get into the thick part of the playoffs. A bit of a different video today. Usually I don't do these game reaction videos. I usually post, in the afternoon. Decided to talk about this one because all the games are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, which are the days I post. So I can't talk about the game for another 2 days. So decided to wait this one out, post at night. Maybe you guys like to change up for this one, but thank you for watching. At the end of the day, I believe what I say. If you disagree, that is okay. We'll see you again next time.